Time 29-7. Benzie getting a touchdown right there in the final second of the first half. Kathy Britton's come our way, and Kathy, you say this is the first time I want to meet you.
Yes,
It's the
it
first
is.
time that we've been on the air with us, right?
That's right.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Grand Traverse Area Hall of Fame. I'm a member of that Hall of
You
Fame.
are.
What, about 4 or 5 years ago? Do you
It
remember?
has. I do remember.
Oh,
You
boy.
were there in 2015
Whoa.
inducted.
How did that go? Thank you so much. This year we got some. Last year you didn't do one, did you?
We did.
Oh, we did.
We did do one last year. We missed in
Oh,
2016.
okay. I knew there was one year coming up when you didn't do it. This year we got a new lineup. Tell us who they are, first of all.
So first we have Art and Millie Doriot. Art was a World War II veteran, and Millie was a high school secretary, and their children all attended our Catholic schools. They were involved in fundraising for the gymnasium at the time, and for many years managed our concession stand as volunteers. We also are inducting, first time ever that we're having a parent and also Mike Doriot, Art and Millie's son. He's an alum. He supported our softball program as coach for over 20 years, giving a positive influence over our players. And a man of few words, but great action. Even in his retirement, he goes above and beyond the call of duty, most notably keeping our fields at St. Elizabeth game ready. Our third is Joan Corky Schultens. She served at our school for 30 years, 29 as secretary in the elementary school. So many will say that she actually ran the school. Was a lady of great faith and served at her home parish at St. Michael's in Suttons Bay. And then finally we have Margaret Sophia. She is an alum of St. Francis. She raised 7 children who all attended GTACs. She supported the school activities, the church activities, and kept her actively expressing her faith. She continues to support our community with her work at St. Vincent de Paul.
Kathy, I know you're not alone making these selections. Tell us about the people involved making the selections each year.
We have a committee that meets to review the nominations. So most specifically, these are folks that have been nominated, who have gone through the nomination process. And so we receive the nomination packets, and then we all, as a group, review them, and then more or less vote and talk about who would be good for our Hall of Fame.
How big is the committee?
About 10 people.
Whoa, that's pretty good. And there's a lot of, how many names did you get submitted by people, roughly?
So it varies from year to year. Some years we'll have maybe 2 new nominations, but our nominations stay reviewed each year for up to 3 to 5 years. 3 to 5 years. So just because you were nominated one year and didn't get it, we still review it year after year.
You don't have to be a St. Francis alumni, do you?
No, I don't believe you are an alum, right? No, you don't. But we, we look at folks who are outstanding community people and who contribute in some way.
Are you looking for new committee members at all?
Not necessarily committee members.
Unless somebody decides to leave.
Yeah, we do a rotation process, so we do have new people each year so that we have new blood and folks who are dedicated to GTACs.
Tell me what happens on the day.
So we have an induction ceremony at 10 o'clock. That's on Saturday, October 12th. So we go through the process where someone, and typically it's the person that nominated them, would present the inductee with their plaque and give the inductee an opportunity to speak also.
That's done where?
And that is done at St. Francis Kohler Auditorium. And then we have a lunch that that follows. It is always on homecoming weekend, and this year the game is Friday night.
Right.
So we will also do a small recognition during halftime out on the field.
Right.
And then Saturday will actually be the induction ceremony.
Sometimes it can be a deceased person, right?
Yes, and in this case, we have 2. So both Art and Millie and Corky are deceased.
Yeah. How long have you been doing this?
So I have been a part of this committee for about 7 years, but the Hall of Fame was originally put together in 2007.
Now, when you get all done, there's some plaques go out. Tell us what happens to those plaques.
So we have plaques that are posted in our outside of the Kohler Auditorium. The design of that whole beautiful artwork was done by Terry and Marvin Walter, who are also alumni of the school. So the plaques, we have that recognition in the hallway.
And the recipient.
They also get a plaque
plaque.
and take home, yes. And on the plaque is a little summary of
Beautiful.
them.
Beautiful. Very nice.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a wonderful committee for me to be a part of. I'm very heartwarmed by all the nominations because everybody is wonderful, have done wonderful things for not only our school but the community, and so it fills my heart to want to be like them and participate.
Maybe someday you'll be.
Oh, if only someday maybe.
Kathy, it's been a real joy having you here. We'll continue to announce this on this Saturday. Anybody can come to that event, right?
Yes, it's an open event.
Yeah. And so that'll be on Saturday, October the 12th, 10 a.m. to St. Francis High School.
That's right.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. Thank
really
you.
Really nice meeting you and
Thank
talking
you.
with you. Good.
Nice
I guess I've talked to you on the phone before,
yes,
but that's been
did.
about it. Kathy Britton here today as we talk about the Hall of Famers. Kathy, thank you so much for being here. We're at halftime where the Gladiators lead by a score of 29-7. We're going to head back to the studio. We'll be back right after this timeout. Well, the band has been entertaining us here at Thurlby Field. Kathy Britton was our guest, and Aaron Bigger steps into the seat now. By the way, we're at halftime with the Gladiators leading by a score of 29-7. Benzie getting a touchdown as the clock ran out, Aaron, and otherwise they'd have had a shutout going.
Yeah, you know, we came out and we played. Our first drive was really, really good. And then we kind of, we're missing a couple holes, and it always surprised me. I forget, not only did we graduate 21 seniors last year, and we knew we had a very inexperienced team, but we have a lot of juniors playing too. And so I think we really only have 4 seniors on our starting offense. And so, they got to work through a lot of this stuff. They're hitting the holes. They're playing with some energy, so that's a positive. I thought we didn't have as much energy as we usually do last weekend, so it's nice to see them kind of rebound.
A lot of things happening. In fact, I think the volleyball team's in a tournament this weekend, aren't they?
Yep, the volleyball team is playing. Cross country just won its meet, and we have our sailing team is in a regatta right now. So today's real busy. Of course, our cheer team's down here. The football team's playing. Golf played yesterday. Busy things happening at sports at St. Francis.
Talk about the sailing team. I haven't heard much about that. Tell us about it.
Well, the sailing team has a spring and a fall, or a spring and a fall season, and you have to have 4 kids. And I don't know a ton about it either because it's Ben Ferris is our sailing coach and does a terrific job for us. And a lot of times we're looking for sailor. We're looking to find. We need to have 4 to make a team. And last spring we didn't have enough. This year we did. I think the year before we had 2 teams. But they are in regattas. They'll go out in the bay here and have a regatta. They practice on Boardman Lake.
Okay.
They have a whole little facility over there. And I don't know where they're at today, but they go down to Detroit. They go down to Chicago, and they'll sail they tow all the boats down.
That's what I was wondering.
It's kind of a neat thing, yeah. And we have a nice sailing club that helps them with all their equipment. And then we got some terrific parent volunteers. And then, of course, Ben, who's pretty passionate about sailing.
Some of the schools around here have equestrian teams, right?
Yep. They have equestrian
Do you?
teams. We do, but we don't have. Last year we didn't have one. The year before we had a really good one. We have some state championship equestrian teams, but that's another thing that, the expense of having a horse and the expense of all the things that go along with it. We don't always have a team, but it's one of those things that you want to kind of have kids, like we talked about last week, make them a part of the school, make that sport, and give them that opportunity.
Would you say, what kind of percentage would you say kids are involved in extracurricular activities? Would you say maybe as high as 80% of the kids in high school?
Well, that would be way above average.
Oh, okay.
So for us, we're at about 83%, 84%.
That's good then.
Yeah, it's something that our parents definitely desire, and it's something we as a school system think is very important. Generally, I think for most schools, it's around 40 to 45%. I'm not sure with the numbers, but I think that's about it. And so all schools are trying to encourage that, because studies show that kids feel closer to their school, closer to that community when they're part of a sport.
Yeah.
And that leads to just much more benefits in how they do in school and then further on in their careers.
Still involved with the hockey situation?
Yeah, no, we have a great coach and a great team. Last year we went to the semifinals and played, and so we added a couple more partners this year. Sutton's Bay, they came back as part of our group. We added our sister school, St. Mary's
Lake
Leelanau. They're going to be part of it, and then Traverse City Christian is going to be a part of our co-op. So we added some nice teams that fit our values, and along with the ones that we have with Kingsley, Elk Rapids, Kalkaska. I'm going to forget someone, and they're going to probably be upset at me, but Elk Rapids, Kalkaska, Kingsley, trying to make sure I get everybody mentioned. But with the partnerships that we hold now, that's just going to add and make it, we're able to put that team together, get access to schools around us, so that kids can participate in extracurricular.
Aaron, I think you have 5 home games this year. We're at 3 already, so your job's about over, right?
It's fast and a lot at the beginning of the school year, but yeah, it'll taper out here as we get a little bit going. But we don't leave Grand Traverse County next week, so we're heading out to Kingsley, and it's a great start of the year.
Always a pleasure.
Same here.
Aaron Baker, Athletic Director at Traverse City St. Francis. We're going to take a break, and John Sonneman's coming back with the halftime stats right after this.